Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allison. This is my mother and this is my sister.
I'm Anne, Allison's mom.
I'm Grace. I'm Allison's older sister.
And this is Henry, my dog.
This is Henry.
So I am currently home now from my exchange 7 months. It was just kind of called off a week ago today because of coronavirus. So I'm now home. I was in Norway and they both have been exchange students as well.
So I was a semester student in Argentina in 2017 and the beginning of 2018.
And I think I started this all. I was a year exchange student in Peru in 1987.
Yeah, so a long time ago. But we have a few questions. We have a lot of questions actually that you guys asked me on Instagram of just general questions about being an exchange student and going on exchange. What's your favorite thing about going on an exchange year? I think my personal favorite thing is all the people that you get to meet, all the friends and family that you get from all around the world then. So then you come home and you have your family at home, but you also have family and friends in all different countries all over the world. I think that's my favorite thing about it.
My favorite was kind of being able to like put my life in Arizona on pause and like have a new life somewhere else. But then when I came back to Arizona, everything was like back to normal, I guess, because I felt like I had like a whole life in those like 6 months that I was gone, which was pretty cool. Then I could come back and just like pick up right where I left off here.
And I think building on both of those, even though my exchange was over 30 years ago, I still have relationships with friends and family that I had in the 80s. So the relationships truly do last.
Yeah. Why did you choose your host countries?
For me, it wasn't a choice. Back in the day, it was if you wanted to go abroad, you said, I'd go, and they randomly assigned you a country. So that was luck of the draw for me.
Random. Did you say Spanish or?
I went in January, so Southern Hemisphere was where I was going to be sent, and I requested Spanish, but that was not necessarily a guarantee.
Yeah. Mine was kind of an interesting one. I don't have like a specific reason, but I wanted to do something other than just like Spanish because I was like, I want to know a language that like nobody knows. So, and I went to Skufjorden, which I talked about in my other Q&A. Skufjorden, it's a language camp basically.
It's like a summer camp.
Yeah.
It's a language camp.
So my mom, she was a counselor or a leader at the Spanish camp. So we've been going there since we were really little. And right next door was the Norwegian camp. And so we really liked going there. And so I decided I wanted to go to Norway a while ago. Maybe like when I went to that camp, I always knew I wanted to go to Norway.
Yep.
I picked Argentina kind of randomly. Like I knew I wanted to go somewhere where I could speak Spanish because I was taking it in high school and it just made sense for me, and I'm studying it in college as well. So I wanted somewhere to speak Spanish. My top two were Costa Rica and Argentina with really no meaning behind it. It was just like a on the whim decision. And I ended up picking Argentina, and I'm really glad I did.
How was the first day of school? I don't know if you remember that.
I absolutely remember.
Really?
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
I think I had gone with somebody from AFS for a tour the day before, but I was given the uniform that we needed. It was a uniform school, and I walked there from my home, and I was terrified because I didn't know anybody. I didn't barely speak Spanish at first, and yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, mine was the same way. I was terrified. And I was really thrown into it because I got to my town. I got to Finstess on Sunday night and I had school Monday morning, the first day of school. So it was a little crazy for me and I just showed up. I didn't know anyone. It was scary because I didn't know how to speak with people because I did not know Norwegian. But there was like one person that talked to me and then other people talked to me after that one person. So yeah.
Mine, I mean, it was also scary. And I was going in the middle of their school year. So since Argentina's in the Southern Hemisphere, they start school in like, their school year starts in like February or March. And I got there in August. So it was the middle of their school year and I was really nervous, obviously, because I studied Spanish in school, but like my conversational abilities were not quite there yet. And yeah, so I was nervous, but the good thing was I was in the same class as my host sister, so a little less nervous because I knew I would have someone there to like help me out.
Yeah. The next one is, how were your host families? For mine, I got really lucky, I think. I had one sibling that was my age and then 2 older ones. So I felt really included in my family, and they said they wanted me to have my best year ever. So they were willing to do anything to make it the best year that we could make it. So
yeah, I feel like both of us, especially, we got really lucky with our host families, because I know plenty of people that have like, not horror stories, but like harder times like bonding with their host families, but we were both super lucky and have great relationships with our families, and I feel like I was in the best possible situation. I love my family. I still talk to them sometimes, so yeah.
And as their mom, I would say I've developed relationships with both of their families in a cool, amazing way. Like, we're co-parents in some ways, especially when they were there, and then even being home, I still maintain relationships. My family situation, it was kind of one of those random, they filled in at the last minute to kind of cover for a family that had to drop out, and in the end I ended up staying, and it was a great experience.
how was it to come back to your normal life, or coming back to America? That was one of the questions. For me, it's weird. This isn't really normal life that I'm coming back to, so it's kind of a different situation. But how is it for you?
It was weird. Like, it felt like I'd never left, which kind of sucked. But like, in my case, I came back because I was only a semester program. So I got back to Arizona in like mid-January. And my high school here was still on winter break, but I went back to school like 3 or 4 days after I got back here, which was super weird. And I remember that whole semester of school after coming back was just like odd, because all my friends were obviously still like here and like spending time with each other while I was gone. So I was kind of behind in a way, but I ended up catching up with everything like school-wise. But it was definitely odd and hard, especially being a semester student. Most of my exchange friends were still in Argentina and still doing their exchange. So I kind of had to just like watch them from here, which was sad.
And you both, so Grace went first semester junior year. Allison essentially all of junior year. I did half sophomore year, half junior year. It was hard coming back and having a year and a half of high school left, because I had changed so much and my friends hadn't.
Yeah,
I was ready for college and independence and excitement.
Yeah, definitely. After I got back, I definitely felt like stuck kind of here, because I feel like in Argentina I just had so much more like freedom and independence, whereas here
I think as
you
an
come
exchange
back and
student,
everything's the same.
Yeah, you have a lot more freedom to do what you want and to experience things. So when you have to come back and still be in high school, you're kind of a kid again, I feel like.
So like when you're on exchange, you feel like an adult because you can make your own decisions and do whatever. And then when you come back, you're treated like a 16-year-old, which makes sense, but you don't want to be treated like that.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask, what's the application process like, or how do you apply to become an exchange student? And all we did for AFS at least is just go on the AFS website.
Yeah, for AFS USA, I think it's afsusa.org.
Yeah.
And it's all there. But AFS is like an international organization, so
any country
is organized through most countries.
Yeah. Did you have an interview for AFS, and what kind of stuff did you talk about with them? And I remember someone coming to our house and just asking me general things like, what do you hope to gain out of your exchange year? What kind of stuff would you want in a host family? Just general stuff like that. And then they try to...
And they want to hear from us, the parents.
Yeah.
They want to be sure that it's the student choosing to go abroad, not the parents saying,
forcing them to go.
Yeah.
Allison does have a dad too, by the way.
Yes,
he wasn't in the last video,
he's
but
working in the office right now.
So yeah, but they do. It's important for them to meet the parents and make sure it truly is the student who wants to go abroad and not just the parents forcing them. So
yeah. So yeah, my interview too, since I was the first one in like our little immediate family, it was like, I was kind of nervous for it because I didn't know what to expect, but it was literally just like a volunteer from AFS Arizona that came here and just asked those like basic questions like, what are you hoping to get out of this? What do you want in a host family? Where are you hoping to go? Like specific in the country, but like at that point we don't know anything about it, so it's like
Yeah.
wherever. So.
Yeah, wherever you want to put me. And then another one that a lot of people have asked is, how do you get your parents, like how do you convince your parents to go on an exchange year? So I guess for a lot of people it's different, because it's always been something we've grown up with knowing about, and it's always been something I wanted to do.
I didn't want to do it though when I was younger. Like I remember when I was like a freshman and sophomore in high school, my mom asked me, she's like, would you ever want to do an exchange? Because like our grandparents are involved in it too and everything, like it's a big family thing. She asked me and I said no, because I'm like a really shy person and very comfortable where I am. So I was like, no, I have no reason to do that. But then I kind of just like randomly made the decision. It's something
It surprised me.
Yeah. I surprised myself too. Everyone, like all my friends were surprised too.
Well, I think you always thought your only option was a year. And when you found out that semester was an option, it felt more
more doable.
Yeah.
But
I would say my biggest suggestion for kids whose parents don't have the background like that I had, meet a exchange student who's in your town. Get to know them, bring them to your house and have them meet your parents and talk about what a valuable experience. Honestly,
bring them for dinner.
That's how we first got started. One of my older sisters met one of the foreign exchange students, brought him home for dinner, and my parents then from that decided to start hosting students, and that's how we got involved. But if you can meet somebody who's either done the program and have them come to your family and eat dinner with you, or an exchange student, to just see that people do it, and maybe you've never met somebody or your parents haven't met somebody. So
but it's doable. Like it seems impossible, but it's really not.
How did you deal with separation from your parents at the beginning, or I guess like family and friends?
And puppies.
And puppies.
Actually, funny story, when I left, my mom was worried she was going to be sad, so they got a dog. And so he was my replacement for like
Henry
6 whole months.
replaced Grace.
And now he's the favorite.
And then when I got back, I thought he was so annoying, because he was still a puppy when I got back. He was like 6
You didn't
months
know
old.
him though. So
And he was so annoying because he like ate all my shoes and like stole my stuff, but now I love it.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
Anyway.
so they dealt with it by getting a dog. Dealt with it. I still don't know English properly.
I mean, for me, it was kind of knowing, because mine was short. Mine was literally like a little less than 6 months. So even by like October, I was like halfway through my exchange. So even though it was like hard and like sad to be away from home for a little bit, there was always like a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, because it was really quick. And the 6 months goes by super fast. So it's like by the end of month 2, you're kind of at the point where you're like, I'm gonna stay here longer. So that kind of helped, just knowing that I'd be home so soon.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting to be home so soon, but I'd say like the hardest part was when I had like holidays that were at home. For example, like Thanksgiving. That was a harder one because I was still at the first half, and you look at it as you have so much time left, but by like Christmas time I was like, I have half of the year and I'm going back to my family and my friends and everything. I have my whole life to be with them, but this is my one year of my life to be here in Norway with these people. So I just enjoyed it, and definitely by Christmas I haven't been sad about like missing my family once since Christmas, because I knew it was gonna come so soon that I was leaving.
For both girls, set up every Sunday we FaceTime.
Yeah, don't
like
call.
So not more than that, and even that sometimes if everybody was busy or whatever. But you know, we communicated with Snapchat and things like that.
Yeah.
But for just little things. But
calling more than once a week makes it
a
more
little too much.
homesick.
Yeah.
So setting a time and just
set
having
like
that
a
be your
designated
time.
Yeah. So have a designated like call time, not more than once a week. I'd say once a week is like the max you should do.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends were like, oh, I just call them maybe like once a month. I'm like, I don't know how you do
I know,
that.
I couldn't do that. Like,
but
I talk to my family probably too much, but it's fine.
yeah, but
Like, no more than once a week.
so that you don't want to be too focused on like friends and family at home, because you need to be enjoying. You're supposed to be like with the people in your country for the time that you're with them. Is it hard to make new friends at school because of the language? I would say I was scared of it. I was scared to go up and talk to people because I didn't know how. But for me, we started with English, I guess. In not all countries you can do that. At the beginning, people spoke a lot of English with me, which was helpful, like friends-wise. it was helpful at the beginning to make friends. But we didn't rely on English for that long because I wanted to learn Norwegian.
And what did I always tell you about making friends? What do you have to be?
Interested and interesting.
Right.
But it was kind of hard to be like interesting in Spanish. That's the thing.
Yeah.
In my class at school, I like was so shy because I don't give myself enough credit. I definitely knew enough Spanish to like get by, but I would always be like, oh, I don't know enough to talk, so I would just sit there and not talk, which is dumb. But after the first few months, I was like, okay, this is stupid, and just started like talking without thinking about it.
But you also always have AFS friends. Those were the friends that you make super fast, especially if you have something like what we did in Norway. We had an arrival camp, which was like 2 days, and I made friends that like I was friends with all year just because of those 2 days.
And they're automatically your best friends because they're doing exactly what you're doing.
They're like, I feel like we're the same people too. We think the same way too.
And in my city too, I was kind of lucky because I was in like a smaller city, but there were like 11 or 12 exchange students in our city, so we definitely spent a lot of time with each other, which was really nice. So we ended up getting really close, just because we were all so close to each other, and it was so convenient to just like get on a bus and meet in like the center or whatever.
I didn't have very many in where I was because we were also spread apart, but when we did get to see each other, we were like best friends. Like we bonded really quickly when we did get to see each other. Yeah. So you always have AFS friends, and then try to at least make some friends in your country. Biggest thing you learned?
Biggest thing you learned, I think, and this is interesting, it transcends generations. So it's the same for me in the 80s and these girls now. You just learn what's important, and it's not things, it's people, it's relationships. And I think now we're kind of learning that again as the whole world is quarantined.
Yeah.
But it really is true. And the biggest thing too that I think a lot of us think we know but don't really understand until we do it is people are just people. They might wear different clothes, eat different foods, have different traditions, but we're all just human beings who want to have happiness and get along. And I think you go away from an experience like that truly understanding that, and it impacts the rest of your life.
Favorite word in your
language you learned? What's yours in Norwegian?
In my other video I said skikkelig. I use that to explain everything. And
I like burbujas, which means bubbles. It's just fun to say.
I'm having a hard time now hearing Allison speak Norwegian because I don't know
Norwegian.
We're so I'm used to being around people who speak Spanish and I can understand them. But Norwegian is out of my wheelhouse.
The other day she was FaceTiming some of her friends, and me and my mom were just sitting there. We're like,
somebody asked if I'm fluent in Norwegian, and I'm not fluent. I know enough to like have conversations with people. I think if I had a few more months, I could know a lot more, but I'm just gonna try to continue practicing, and at least I know enough to
be dangerous.
Yeah. So how much does it cost? And I got people asking how we paid for it and stuff like that.
So a lot of different programs cost different amounts of money. AFS, for an example, is a program that they have lots of different programs that have different government sponsorships as well. That certain high-need language countries, you can go basically for free to a lot of different countries where there's a high need in the U.S. Government jobs, for example. Or Germany, for example, sponsors a lot of scholarships to go there because the government of Germany feels it's important for people to learn German. And then there are different scholarships available. But different programs are going to cost different amounts. The way we looked at it, my husband and I, it's basically equivalent to paying for an extra year of college. So the way that we justify it, I guess, in our minds is we've saved for the kids for college. And then luckily they're working hard in school and they're able to get scholarships to cover part of their tuition. So in the end, it's money that
you would have used anyway.
For college, or so it's not something. And then with different programs, they work with you on payment plans or applying for different scholarships. And even in the case of AFS, the state organization has scholarships you can apply for as well. So I would hope that somebody wouldn't let money be the reason to keep them from going and doing something, because it may impact the country you choose, because different countries you're going to be able to go for less money.
What are you going to miss most from your countries, or what do we miss most from our countries besides the people?
The food. And like honestly being able to speak Spanish, because like
24/7.
I like speaking Spanish and it's fun. And now, like, I've gotten to a certain point now where it's not hard. Like, I don't really have to think about it anymore. It just sort of happens. And I miss being able to just, like, I miss it being challenging. Even if it's not, like, super challenging. With English, I just, like, talk. But with Spanish, I like the extra challenge that's added, and also the food, because Argentina.
Well, since I did South America as well, I always said, and it's no different now, and when I travel back to Central or South America, I wish we could have the social culture of South America with
I love that too.
Physical structure of the United States. That would be like the perfect model, the perfect place for it. So I miss just the way people,
because people there are very like family oriented and like just people oriented, and I really like that.
Community oriented.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss kind of the chill aspect of Norwegian society. I really like just all the trust they have in the people, and just how more laid back they are. I feel like than Americans were very go go go, and there you just have a more relaxed lifestyle. Except for now.
Now we're
all
just
relaxed. But just in general, I feel like in Norway, it's very relaxed and people are overall happier. I don't know. So
and you mentioned several times just that, like teenagers, for example, they exhibit less stress. And
regarding
we
school
just
and all that.
created a society in a lot of places in the United States where it's younger people and adults and everybody. There's just this stress culture.
Yeah.
Which is,
That's
maybe that's
very
what we'll
much
learn from
American.
this quarantine is
Yeah.
maybe we'll learn to step back.
Yeah, be more chill.
That'd be nice.
What were the best cities you guys visited in your exchange countries? He's just staring at us.
I was lucky when I was in Peru. We did a lot of AFS trips with the 60. I think there were 60 students in the whole country, and we traveled. Like we went together as a group and got to see, of course, Machu Picchu and the Amazon rainforest and different parts. So we actually got to see quite a bit of Peru.
That's nice. I had plans to see
saw
more
a
in Norway,
lot.
but I did see a lot.
Traveled a lot.
Yeah, I'd say like the most beautiful place I went was Varøy. It was very, very beautiful. And favorite place I would say is Tromsø, because I was there so often and I like did everything you can do there. I feel like I did a lot more than like most Norwegians.
You don't appreciate your close surroundings.
Yeah,
always.
so I appreciated Tromsø a lot more than like people in Finnsnes did, but
Yeah.
I really liked it there.
I think I saw a lot. I saw Buenos Aires with my host family. We went there for like a week vacation, which was super cool, because that was like the one city that I'd actually heard of in Argentina before I went there. And then we did an AFS trip with all like the exchange students in my city. We went to Mendoza, which was super cool. And we did a bunch of cool stuff, like, because they're known for like their vineyards, like wineries. So
Whitewater rafting.
that, like whitewater rafting, hiking in the Andes Mountains, which was cool. So we did a lot of cool stuff there.
Have you ever thought about hosting an exchange student ourselves, like in Arizona? I really want to.
Our house isn't big enough.
Yeah, we don't have like an extra bedroom, so, and we don't, I know as an exchange student, I liked having my own room.
Yeah.
So it would, I wouldn't want to make someone like share a room. But
yeah, it's something we struggle. I grew up with having exchange students. We had 3 when I was growing up, and you know, I still have contact with all 3 of them, and I would love that. It's something that everybody in the family has to be on board with, and I think that, I think it's important to be able to give them their own space, and we just have.
Yeah. Plus, now that we're getting older, it's kind of hard. Like I don't live here. Like I live at college, or I
did.
Not
anymore.
Not anymore. And then Allison will be graduating high school next year, so it's like once we move out, it'll be different.
But you've tried to, like, you've built relationships with other foreign students, not by having.
Because there's a lot that come like to our school. We always have.
So even if you can't host, making friends with other people. So there was a question about are these programs only for high school students? And their specific program was a high school exchange. However, AFS I even think does have a post high school exchange program, and they even have some adult programs, I think. But one of my biggest regrets, I think, is not doing an additional study abroad in college. And it was one of those things. This is why I think people don't go abroad, because you say, well, I'll look at it next year, and then something comes up, and you're like, but I have this really good job, and I don't want to leave it. And then all of a sudden real life happens and you are an adult with a mortgage and a car payment and you don't do it. So definitely there are a lot of options in college or after high school.
Yeah,
So
and right when I
finally.
got back from Argentina, my biggest regret was doing a semester instead of a year. Like, by far. If I could have done a year, I would have, but I couldn't with like the way school worked out and whatever, which is fine. But after that, I was like, I know I want to do one in college because I don't want that to be it. Like, I don't want that one semester to be my only, like, experience, you know? So I'm planning on doing one next year in the spring, hopefully. If everything's back to normal by then.
When the world starts
When the world starts
I
back
I
up,
already am thinking about doing an exchange in college.
like a study abroad.
Yeah.
Because it's very different in college.
Yeah.
Because
true.
in high school, you're obviously
You're
going
with
to high
a
school, you're
family
living with a family, whatever. College,
Yeah.
it's a lot more
You're
like
more on your own, I guess.
you're on your own. Get an
But-
apartment.
Yeah.
Get to go to school, do whatever you want.
And I think too, all this stuff going on right now is a good reminder of you never know what's gonna happen. And like in Allison's case and her cousin's case, like their exchanges got cut short from this, and that's awful. At least you did it, right? And at least you got some experience, because we could sit all day and say, well, what if something happens, and then you never do anything. Hopefully we're able to make everything function and everybody be safe and healthy, but don't put off something that you could. It's hard as a mom sending your kids away, but it's the best the best gift I could have given them. And for my husband, who never had studied abroad and never experienced that, it was even harder for him, because he's like, wait, we're doing what? But it's the best gift we can give our kids, is let them go experience it themselves and really touch the world.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for watching.
Thumbnail picture.
Gracias por mirar.
Talk por tu sopo.
Talk for Martin.
Talk
That's the
for
one
Martin.
Norwegian phrase I know.
Yeah, so I'm in Arizona now. I'm in quarantine. We are in
living it
quarantine
up.
Lots of
all
family
together.
time.
So I can make a video about quarantine life if you want.
We got dressed up and
Yeah,
showered.
today is Fancy Friday, so
Put on real clothing.
we're
makeup,
forced to shower,
and brush
makeup,
your hair.
clothes, because every other day we just kind of wear pajamas.
Low priority.
So this is our life now for however long it's going to be. Hopefully not too long. But yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. Yeah,
Put it right here.
subscribe right
Right
here. Okay,
Okay.
all there.
Adios.
Bye.